Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for the Johns Hopkins School of Education Special Education Virtual Webinar. My name is Tanya McMillan. I'm an admissions coordinator here at the Johns Hopkins School of Education. I also have my colleague from the Office of Admissions, Sion John. She is the Assistant Director of Admissions. Also today, we have a member of the Special Education Department, Dr. Alexandra Shelton, and Ms. Sydney Pinkard from Montgomery County Public Schools joining us today as well. Before we begin, I would like to cover a few housekeeping topics. First, today's webinar is being recorded. We'll be able to share a link with you after the event is complete. Also, please take a moment right now to ensure that your microphone is on mute and your video camera is off. Please always have your microphone muted and video off during today's presentation. There will be a question and answer session at the end of the presentation. Please type your questions in the chat box and we will read and answer your questions. I would like to share the agenda for today's virtual webinar. We will start the presentation sharing an overview of the Johns Hopkins School of Education. Then Dr. Shelton will go over the details of the special education programs at SOE. Then we will cover admission requirements and financial aid. Ms. Pinkard will also cover information on tuition reimbursement, and we'll wrap up at the end with questions. Let's start with just a few quick facts about the Johns Hopkins School of Education. We are one of 9 schools at Johns Hopkins University. We began offering college courses for teachers in 1909 and then became our own school in 2007. We are proud to share that the Johns Hopkins School of Education is consistently ranked one of the top schools in education by the U.S. News and World Report. Here on this slide, you will see some fast facts about our school. For school enrollment, we have approximately 2,364 students and offer 27 graduate programs, which include doctoral, master's, and graduate certificate programs. We also have a strong network of over 23,000 SOE alums. Now for our faculty introduction, today we have joining us Dr. Alexandra Shelton. Dr. Shelton joined the School of Education in 2021. Her research focuses on improving literacy outcomes for secondary students with mild disabilities, including mild intellectual disability and learning disabilities, via intensive intervention and teacher professional development and coaching. Dr. Shelton was also previously a high school special education teacher in Baltimore City Public Schools, where she served students with and without disabilities in English, language arts, reading, math, and science. At this time, I'll hand the floor over to Dr. Shelton.
Hi, everyone. So on the next slide, you'll see just a bit of information about the special education teacher shortage here in the United States. And this is an even more important shortage to address because of the pandemic, which has exacerbated circumstances across the country. And so for this reason, we need to have well-trained special educators in our classrooms across the districts in Maryland and the United States. And so on the next slide, you'll see how we address this. So we offer 3 pathways in the field of special education. And this way you can customize your master's degree to meet your professional goals. And today we will be focusing on the mild to moderate disabilities pathway. Next slide. So the MMD pathway is designed for candidates who plan to serve students with mild to moderate disabilities, and that includes emotional behavioral disabilities and learning disabilities, as well as mild intellectual disability and ADHD under the disability identification of other health impairment. And so the focus of the MMD pathway is on gaining expertise in applying specialized techniques within a wide range of educational settings. Our program is approved by the Maryland State Department of Education for initial certification in generic special education, which essentially means special education in general. And this certification has 2 tracks, either elementary middle, which is grades 1 through 8, or secondary adult, which is grades 6 through 12. And that being said, there is an opportunity to earn your degree in special education with us without seeking certification, but most of our candidates do seek certification. So our program consists of 13 courses, and most of our classes are taken by all candidates. However, there are some classes that are track specific. For example, spoken and written language, which is bold on this slide, that is for elementary middle track candidates in particular. And on the next slide, you'll see career assessment and programming, and that is for the candidates on the secondary adult track. Additionally, our program plan includes 2 classroom or behavior management courses and 2 internships for all candidates seeking certification. Next slide. So we offer our classes in the summer, the fall, and the spring. Most of our classes are in the evening because most of our candidates are working professionals during the day. The classes that are in person are held at our centrally located campus, Johns Hopkins Applied Physics Lab, which is in Laurel, but we do offer some classes online, and most of our candidates complete the program in 2 or 3 years. And SETIT is completed or is intended to be completed in 2 years. So these are the milestones to graduation. There are 2 praxis exams that candidates complete and pass in order to seek state certification. We also have a comprehensive exam that students complete in the middle of the program. There's a culmination project that candidates complete if they are in order to seek state certification. And for candidates who are not seeking state certification, they have the option to, or for candidates who are seeking state certification, they also have the option to complete a graduate project and presentation. So that's optional for candidates who are seeking state certification. For those who are not seeking certification, that grad project is a requirement. And this is in addition to the coursework that students complete during the program. So here's a bit more information about SETIT specifically. This is a partnership between Hopkins and the Montgomery County Public Schools, and it's primarily for MCPS paraeducators and others who are not currently serving as certified teachers. So it's a 2-year program to earn your Master of Science in Special Education. It's the MMD Pathway, which is again, the mild to moderate disabilities pathway. And so this is a cohort approach, meaning that all SETIT candidates complete the same courses together, with the exception that some classes, again, are track specific. So some are for elementary middle specifically, whereas a few other classes are for secondary adult specifically. And then in addition to these classes, we, or MCPS paras and other employees who are participating in SETIT complete job embedded internships. So 2 job embedded internships, which means that students are completing these internships in an MCPS classroom that they work in. And then as an MCPS employee, you still have your salary and benefits. There's also partial tuition support. And so I am the faculty member who manages the SETIT program on the Hopkins side of things. So if you ever have more information beyond this info session, you can email me at ashelt18@jhu.edu. So the ideal SETIT candidate is someone who is seeking initial special education certification through a state-approved program. Our program is state-approved. You are planning to serve students with mild to moderate disabilities. You're able to commit to 2 years of intensive graduate work. You're able to demonstrate all admissions requirements, and you're willing to work and study hard. And just one last point that I want to make on this slide, recall that For the elementary middle track, candidates are seeking to work with students in grades 1 through 8. And for the secondary adult track, students are seeking to work with students in grades 6 through 12.
All right, thank you, Dr. Shelton. We're going to move on to the application requirements. First, a 3.0 or better cumulative undergraduate grade point average. Applicants must submit a completed application, which can be found on the school's website. The application fee is $80. Official transcripts from all post-secondary institutions attended. Again, this is from all official transcripts, including institutions who may have taken courses but did not receive a degree. An essay and a resume, 2 letters of recommendation from individuals who can speak to your work in the field of special education. Testing scores are required if your grade point average is less than a 3.0. Please visit the Maryland Department of Education website for a listing of specific tests that are accepted. And lastly, an interview. Applicants who meet admissions requirements will be asked to interview to ensure that your goals align with the program's goals before an offer of admission. And if your degree was completed outside the US, please keep in mind that you will need to complete a course-by-course evaluation. Additional information can be found on the school's website. The current tuition for the School of Education is $875 per credit for face-to-face courses and $926 plus a $20 per credit technology fee for online courses. In addition, the registration fee is $175 per semester, and there is an application fee of $80 when you submit your application. And please note, tuition will increase approximately 5% for the next academic school year. For additional information on tuition fees, please visit the SOE's website. And if you're interested in applying for financial aid, we strongly encourage you to apply for financial aid when you start your application. And we do offer a limited number of partial need-based institutional scholarships each year. And these awards range on average from $500 to $1,500 per semester and are applied to tuition expenses beginning in the fall semester. And to learn if you qualify for the endowed scholarship or have any questions regarding financial aid, please visit the school's website. I will now hand the floor over to Sydney Pinkard from Montgomery County Public Schools, and she will go over details of the tuition reimbursement.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I am Sydney Pinkard. I'm an instructional specialist at MCPS, and I'm just going to take a few minutes to explain to you how the tuition reimbursement benefit works in the district. If you choose to move forward with the Johns Hopkins SEDIT program, you will be eligible for tuition reimbursement. The first question we often get is, well, Sydney, how do I know if I'm eligible? Minimally, you need to be employed in a permanent position of 20 hours or more. That's the criteria we use in the district to determine if your benefit's eligible, and MCPS tuition reimbursement is one of those benefits. If you have questions about whether or not the position you currently hold is a permanent position, feel free to reach out to me directly and I can help verify that information. Built into this partnership is approval for you to exceed 9 credits of tuition reimbursement as a member of the partnership. So another way to say that is that Johns Hopkins is going to expect of you to take more than 9 credits in a given year, and we will pre-approve you to be able to do so. If you choose another program that does not come with that type of approval, you're only eligible for 9 credits of reimbursement as an employee. But feel confident that if you move forward with the SEDIT program, if you are required to take 15 or 18 or more credits in a given year, MCPS will approve you to do so. It's important to note that that approval to exceed the 9 credits a year, each year does count towards future reimbursement. What that looks like is that you will need to expect to go a period of time directly upon your completion, your successful completion of the SETIT program, where you're not eligible for additional tuition reimbursement. I can work with you individually to help you figure out what that period of time is. Typically, it's about 2 years that you would be ineligible for additional tuition reimbursement. A question that often comes up is, well, what if I want to take more classes? Quite honestly, I'm not certain why you would want to take more classes after completing a very rigorous graduate program, but you're not prevented from taking additional coursework. You just need to know that there isn't tuition support for those courses you choose to take. We can go to the next slide. I don't manage tuition reimbursement directly. We do have a team in the school system who does. So if you have very specific sort of personal questions regarding tuition reimbursement, there is a Dropbox that is reviewed each day, and that information is on the screen. It's also readily available to you if you go to the MCPS website, and they do have a phone number. I do serve as a liaison to our employees in partnerships. So if you have trouble connecting, or if you want to discuss something before reaching out to the tuition reimbursement office, I will gladly serve as your point of contact for partnership questions, and I can connect you to various offices if you are unable to get a response. A couple of important things to note to make sure that the reimbursement process goes successfully. It is not automated, so it is absolutely 100% employee driven. And it does require you to submit documentation after you successfully complete the course or courses of study. It will be really important that you familiarize yourself with the process and the details. And again, there's a web page that you can read now to help build your background knowledge about the process. Currently, the reimbursement rate that you can expect from MCPS is for $384 per graduate credit. That's equal to a little over $1,100 for each 3 credit course you take. Most of the courses in the SETIT program are going to be about 3 credits, but on occasion, you know, it might be 2 or 1 credit. And so that's why we put the per credit rate there for you to assist you with your financial planning.
All right, thank you, Ms. Pinkard. So at this time, we would like to open up the floor for questions. And while we wait for questions, Dr. Shelton, excuse me, we do get this question often: where are the classes offered?
So most of our classes are offered in Laurel at the Applied Physics Lab. And so that allows it to be in between Montgomery County and Baltimore. So yeah, it gives that option. And some of our classes are also held online.
The next question we have from Michelle is, can we transfer credit from a previous education program?
So I would have to double check this, but so there are prerequisite courses, and all of those courses can come from a different program. For courses that are required, so they're not prerequisite, but they're program courses, you can transfer up to 3 credits, I believe. So it's either 1 or 2 classes that could be covered from a previous program. And so also, if you want to email me so that I can double check that information and share it with you, that works.
If I could add, oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead, Ms. Pinkard, go for it.
Okay, I'm sorry to interrupt. If I can add, at the start of the presentation, Dr. Shelton shared with you where you will pick a track of study, and that is based on the grade level of students that is your goal to teach. And one consideration that I want you to think about is, how is your current employment in MCPS matched to that grade level that you want to teach. So for example, if you are interested in the pathway that is for grades, special education certification for grades 1 through 8, and you're currently serving as a paraeducator in a high school, those two things don't match. So you will have to make a decision of whether or not you will pick the secondary track, which is matched to high school, or if you want to change your employment and explore opportunities to move from a high school to an elementary or middle school. So it's really important that you pay close attention to those two pathways and the grades that are included in those pathways, because your employment should match the pathway you're pursuing for certification. That's not just a preference that Johns Hopkins has or MCPS has. It also has implications for certification. So it's really important that that matching is there. Again, if you need assistance with how to explore other employment opportunities, if you are currently a temporary part-time para and you want to learn how to become a permanent para, there may be some people on the call who are not current employees. Either way, just reach out to me and I can serve as an initial point of contact and share with you some of those employment steps that you would need to take in order to have that alignment.
Thank you, Ms. Pinkert. Super helpful. And Dr. Shelton, I believe it's up to, for the first question that was asked about transfer credit, I believe it is up to 6 credits, obviously approved by the department. And Dr. Shelton, if you don't mind sharing your email address in the chat box, I know you it was shown in one of the previous slides, just in case if anyone has like program related questions. Thank you, Dr. Shelton. The next question we have is, can we also have the slideshow in a PDF form, please? Unfortunately, we can't do a PDF form, but the recorded video will be shared with all registrants within 1 week. The next question we have is, how many internships are scheduled and where do I do my internship? And I believe that question is for Dr. Shelton.
So for certification, there are 2 internships. So there's essentially one at least the way things are right now, there's one at the end of the first year, there's one at the end of the second year, but moving forward, they might both be in the second year. So one fall semester of the second year and then the other in the spring. So those internships take place in your school, the school in which you work. And that's why we were sharing before, it's really important to pay attention to your track. So if you work in a high school, but you are seeking certification in elementary middle, which is grades 1 through 8, there's some misalignment, which would make things difficult. So it's really important to make sure that your placement and your track are consistent with each other so that you can complete your internship in your job.
To add on to Dr. Shelton's response, many of our principals are very familiar with the SEDIT program. SEDIT has been a long-standing, really wonderful partner for us in MCPS. And so they understand how the program works. They have been great advocates for employees who are coordinating internship needs. As Dr. Shelton mentioned, there isn't a need for any kind of leave, paid or unpaid or otherwise, while you complete the SEDIT program. With that said, there are going to be some principals who may be a little less familiar with the SEDIT program. And so again, I can serve as a point of contact working alongside the university. If your principal says to you, wait, I want to learn more, what are you talking about? Both of us can share relevant information to help build their background knowledge. I also highly recommend that if you haven't already, as you move through this process, you share information with your principal, if you have the secondary level, with your RITC, or with other members of the leadership team, to let them know that you are pursuing teacher certification, you're pursuing your continuing education, and you're interested in becoming a special education teacher. Our leadership teams at the school level are fantastic with, again, advocacy and support of employees who go down this pathway. So it's a great time to share. We're right now in the spring, in the middle of, or really the start of the hiring season. So principals are making lots of decisions, and if needed, they can provide support to you. So don't be afraid to share your needs, share your goals, and please always contact me and let me know if I can be helpful to you.
All right, thank you both. The next question we have is, I am currently a long-term sub at Richard Montgomery High School. My degree program I was enrolled in was for certification in special education and secondary education. I have taken and passed all required praxis exams. I just want to make sure this is the right or correct route for me.
So, sorry,
Please go ahead, Dr. Shelton.
Based on the information that has been shared, it seems like this would be the correct route for you. Through SEDIT, however, there is a focus on certification. So if you don't need certification, you can still apply to the program, but I don't think that it would need to be through SEDIT. Ms. Pinkert, is that correct?
Yeah, I would say that I would ask this individual, if you could reach out to me directly. I would have to learn some more details from you to best address this question. You indicate that I think you have a degree in special education. So we just need a little more information, and I'll be able to direct you in the right direction.
And you can reach out to me also, or email both of us, just so that we can give you both perspectives, Hopkins and MCPS. Okay.
All right, so it looks like there are no more questions. Thank you again for your interest in the Johns Hopkins School of Education. We look forward to hearing from you. And here on this slide, if you have any admissions related questions, please reach out to the Office of Admissions. Any program related questions, Dr. Shelton, she shared her email address in the chat box. And Ms. Pinkert, feel free to share your information if anyone has questions in regards to tuition reimbursement. Have a wonderful evening, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Shelton and Ms. Pinkert, for being here.
Thank you.